morning. My name is Diego Salasteta and she is Salma Sainz, and today we're going to talk about ocean acidification. So usually what comes to mind when we talk about ocean pollution is straws, plastic bags, and like runoff, like sewage runoff and everything. So, but it's a more deep problem. It's actually more difficult, to make a solution, and it actually impacts more than we actually think. So this is ocean acidification.
Yeah. Okay. So, since the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the air has increased, and this is because of the burning of fossil fuels. So the 30% of that concentration is absorbed by the ocean. And when the ocean mixes, the chemicals in the ocean mix with the carbon dioxide, it creates hydrogen ions, which create a more acidic solution. Also, in farming, agriculture, there's a lot of nitrogen pollution, which adds to the acidification in the ocean. Okay.
And also, well, it's obviously common pollution such as plastic. When it disintegrates, obviously chemicals are released. Obviously, other compounds. There are like containers that when heat is added or another factor is added to them, they release chemicals. So it makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. So the acidification in the ocean also damages the fishes. For example, crabs, corals, and crabs and corals. Their shells are made of calcium carbonate. Okay, and the acidification in the ocean, it affects their shell growth. Also, the food web is affected because most fishes can detect the predators, so they get killed easily.
Another thing that is affected is corals they're a big habitat. Many animals live through it, and they actually serve as protection. For example, I don't know if you've seen Finding Nemo. They hide in an anemone so that the predators can't kill them. And when these corals and the habitat and the plants that grow there are destroyed, well, it disturbs everything. The environmental balance. Animals are not hidden, many are not protected, and many predators take advantage of this, such as sea urchins. Sea urchins are they're parasitic animals. They eat plants, they eat corals, they eat a lot of stuff.
So one of the solutions could be an awareness campaign. And this can be done by inviting celebrities, you could call, into our cause. And not every time the celebrity gets paid, so they use the propaganda from this to benefit them, so they look better.
Yeah. So we also want to raise awareness. Obviously, that's very important. But we also want to plant these three. We want to plant kelp, we want to plant eelgrass, and we want to plant plankton. Okay. So what are these? They're plants. Plankton, eelgrass, and kelp are at the bottom of the food chain, meaning that since if they are thriving, the whole food chain will be thriving. The whole food web. So there's actually a very interesting phenomena in Florida. The barrier reef. It's supposed in Florida the heat in the water is it changes a lot, and corals are not used to this change. So corals when they're exposed to heat, chlorine, any other chemicals, they die. They're very sensitive. So in Florida, there's outside the barrier reef, there's a barrier of kelp and eelgrass, and these what they do is they regulate the water temperature. and and they protect it from any outside damage. And they also will, it would also obviously it would cost $750 per 30 pounds, and 1 acre of these plants absorbs 750 pounds of CO2, which is, I mean, it's not the best, but it's very optimal. It's very good. And what I also want to encourage is that this will take time. This will take time because there are obstacles. So what it would be a better solution, if we put these together, but awareness. So I'm going to share with you some awareness. And actually, if we stop doing these things, we can actually improve climate change. So, for example, don't use that much plastic. Obviously, that's a given. Don't use plastic, and you cannot obviously change it. For example, toothbrushes. You can use bamboo toothbrushes, wooden toothbrushes. You can change it. When you go to the store, you can bring your own bags. When you go to a coffee shop, you can bring your own mug. And it's actually the idea is that it's very costly. That life, organic life, very environmental friendly life is very costly, but it's actually not. If you think about it, for example, if you buy like a water bottle every day, a $2 water bottle every day for 7 days a week, it would be obviously like $14. But if you buy a $14 mug or bottle, a metal bottle, you would actually be saving a lot of money. So it's not actually money problem. It's that you want to. So please try to do that. You can reduce. You can obviously turn on the lights. You can obviously turn on the lights. You can use less less heat. It's gonna be colder, but you can also use less heat, less water. You can try to improve the situation by being more conscious about your actions.
So for this, we want to create like a little company, and we call it the Royal Blue Project. And with this, we're gonna get some volunteers so that they could start planting the kelp, the eelgrass, and the plankton to, start making little changes. Yeah.
So if we do this, what are the benefits? What if we change our habits and if we plant these kelp, eelgrass? Well, this is gonna happen. Corals are going to be protected, and since corals are a very big factor in the food chain, in habitats and environment for the fish, it actually will increase flora and fauna, obviously, and actually will help the economy. For example, fishermen, they rely on fish, and if there's more fish, their economy improves. Also, for example, eelgrass, kelp, they harbor many animals such as otters, they harbor many fish, and otters are cute. And otters actually, they eat sea urchins, and sea urchins are very parasitic, so that's a good thing. So yeah, these are the benefits.
So some of the obstacles would be raising money, getting funds, because first we need to educate the people into what is ocean acidification, but that's going to take some time. Organization, two people can't do all the work, so we need to start preparing. The volunteers, not all people want to get themselves in the water and start planting, so that's going to be a challenge. The pavements, advertising, like I said, with you could call the celebrities or whatever, and then
well, scientifically, people think that kelp and eelgrass and plankton are very good for the environment, but there's obviously the concern that if we plant too many of it, it will have like a negative balance on the sea and on the environment. So there's that, and also, how we can make these obstacles, overcome these obstacles is there are many ways to advertise the campaign. I don't know if you've ever gone to a cinema or to a grocery store and they tell you like, would you like to donate 5 cents to this cause, and they play an ad and then would you like to do this, Or when you go to Walmart, there's always like a guy with a can. Like, would you like to donate? Yeah, we can do that. It's obviously, and a lot of people are willing to volunteer. They're willing to help. So there's also that. And however, another obstacle is permits. You obviously can't go to the city and tell the officer like, oh, we're just gonna plant some kelp. Like, no, you obviously have to have a permit. Yeah, you have to have government approval. So there's also that obstacle. But the most optimal thing is that you, as the audience, you as human beings, start to change your habits, and that would actually help. And since this can happen and this will happen, it will take much more time. You can start with yourself. It's gonna be small, obviously. It's not gonna be a big change, but every big change starts with a small one.
Any questions? You need to ask.
You guys said something about contacting the artists, but how would you do that? Like, how would you contact artists to support your campaign?
Well, nowadays most people use social media, so we will try with that.
And also they have representatives,
Mhm.
or like there's always the fan mail, Twitter. It's obviously very easy, actually very easy to contact celebrities, and
The thing for them is to actually respond.
But since it's like a good cause, they'll be more willing to.
And since it brings them good advertisement for them, they'll probably do it.
And we can actually also partner. Have you ever seen an app in Google Play or App Store if you're rich? App Store, it actually has an app called Forest. If you use your phone this, if you put it down more, the more time you don't use your cell phone, it actually donates money to a charity that plants trees. We can also do that. We can also there's an app that you donate. How for the Australian wildfires they sell merchandise, and the money that they get, they give it to the Australian wildfires. Obviously, we can do that. So what else?
Another question?
You said that acidification damages, ocean life, but has it ever damaged humans, like in any way, or not?
I mean, acidification has to do with pollution.
Was it?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, obviously it affects you.
Yeah, for example,
Your-
the economy. It affects very greatly the economy. For example, fish are dying. A lot of corals are dying. The food web and the food chain is very unbalanced. So, for example, fishermen who rely on this, countries that rely on this, Japan, Denmark, I don't know, islands, Australia, since they rely on this type of market, well, it obviously affects them. And obviously there's the problem with clean water. There's the problem with oxygen, with pollution, with air pollution. Since it's CO2, obviously CO2 doesn't come from the ocean, it comes from us. And obviously to go to the ocean, it has to pass to all the country, and it affects us, obviously. So yeah, it affects us a lot.
Any more questions?